today, we're talking today about this whole aspect of your relationship that you're so much in love with. Are you really compatible? You know, we have that revolving door that we go in and out of a relationship, constantly moving back and forth. You know, we might be in an incompatible relationship. So we're going to talk about that. Let me welcome those who are joining with us live this evening. In the meanwhile, our guest this evening is no stranger to this program, Lisa Blenham. Who I get? Blenman. Yes, David. All right. So rock and come in, people. All the rock and come in. Mike at Night is on. Do something for me, please, people. Always share the live. Just share the live. Go to somebody and say, listen, Mike at Night is on. Mike at Night is on, and he talk about something very important tonight. Your love, but are you compatible? Yes. Let me say also, you'll see screening across the live that you're going to see a sign there saying that if you wish to donate, because there are some people who have become fans, there are some people who have been saying, hey, listen, how can we support the program? Well, we have found a way for you to be able to express your support for the program. And by that, you can just go to my website, www.michaelATstewart.com. It's written at the, you'll see it scrolling across there, www.michaelatstewart.com, and you press donate, and you can select which level you want to donate at, and bam, you are contributing towards this program being on the air and for us to continue. We try to see about relationships, and we try to develop relationships as much as possible as we go along. And you have been a great support to us. So let me say, Charmaine, who's usually on very early, Charmaine boys, good evening to you. And Lisa, Charmaine saying good evening to you. Right. Joy.
Good evening, Charming.
Nice. Joy Kenneth Hodge. Good evening also. Manuelin Pierre, all the way from St. Thomas. Yes. So all of you people who are usually logging, we're happy to have you on. And people have been messaging me from the United Kingdom, from Guyana, so many different parts of the world, in Lucia, Bermuda, where I tell you, so many places, and I always appreciate hearing from you all and being part of the program. All right, so we just wait on the live to get some more people on, because once we get going, we get going. That is it. Yes. All right. So, Lisa, how are you doing?
I am blessed. I am blessed. Good night, everyone.
Well, you
Nice
look
to
more
be on
than
the
blessed to
program.
me. You look more than blessed.
Ooh, it's a pleasure to be here.
Right. Yes, 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 yes. You know, one of the things that we have is that people are in revolving doors. They
Yeah.
get into a relationship, they come out, it wasn't working, they go straight back into the same relationship, they come out, it's still not working, and they do that repeatedly for years. I had the opportunity to meet a gentleman recently, and he has been doing that in and out, in and out. And I said, then why is it you keep going back? Because they are always at loggerhead. He said, well, I don't know why I keep going back. You see? So I asked, well, is it that you are so treated so well that you need to go back? He said, no, the lady is horrible. The lady treats me with such disrespect and so on. And you keep going back? He said, I really don't have an answer to it. I say, well, how is the sex? Well, so you know he's going back
That is
for
what
that
caught him.
hit, for that hit, but he is not happy in the relationship. So my question is it really worth it? Is it really worth it with that in and out, in and out? All right, so he's just one of so many people. Myrtle, good evening. Myrtle say at last. Why? We start late, Myrtle? Why I say at last? He get hooked, Charmin said. Of course he get hooked. You think it easy? Let me tell you, if a woman gives a man good sex, you could lead him with a spider's web tied to his nose. Lisa aging backwards. Yeah. Yeah, she is. Joy said, what she give him to rub, he eat. Oh, what to run, he drink, yes. Charmaine say we fools. No, man, Charmaine, you have the wrong thing. Right? Yes, Miss Hooper. Yes, Guyana, I think it is Hooper. Glad to have you. Chanel Rodley, good evening. Right. So we have people. Lawrence Flamen. Your rock and come in, Lawrence. Rock and come in. A bit late, but all right, we're going to take you. Linda Joville, he get hooked, but I feel sorry for him. Yes, and he really get hooked. You also know that some women get into relationships and they come out and they go straight back in. What causes that, Lisa? As we on it, what causes that with women? We know what happened with some men, but with women.
A level of loyalty, you find that will happen, and also from their past. They may have seen their mothers doing it, their grandparents doing it, so they think that they should just stay loyal, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, and they think that they should just stay loyal in the relationship. You know?
Okay, all right, okay. I in it, I don't want that to come out. How it will look if I come out back, etc. Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have broken relationships in the past, you tell yourself you don't want it to be another broken relationship. So you say, I'm going to
That's
put up
correct.
some more with this one.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Sometimes
right.
because of the past, the parents.
Yes. So this lady, Isabella Chase, wrote an article that she updated in March the 2nd, 2024. So it's quite current.
Yeah.
And it's talk about the signs that you love the person, but it is just not compatible. You love the person, but the relationship just not working. All right, so Glenda Allen, you're late. You need to go in quadrangle. Candice Alexander, you late also. Last time you were the first one on, this time you're almost last on. Makini John, familiarity, she says, causes some people to go in and out. All right. So according to this lady, Isabella Chase, Isabella says that there are 8 signs that you are incompatible. Now, you tell me whether you agree with some of these, Lisa, or not. One of them that she says is that there's constant disagreement. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, constant disagreement will come along the lines that we don't see eye to eye. No, we have to look at the definition of compatibility. Yeah?
Right.
That's one thing we really need to look at, that compatibility. What is really compatibility? Is it that we have to agree with one another? We have to like one another? Or we have to just tolerate one another? Right? Compatibility is about respect. It's about helping each other to grow in the direction that they want to grow. It's about working out differences, working out conflicts. How do you go about doing those things? That is compatibility. People feel like, compatibility, we have to be liking one another all the time. That just doesn't cut it.
And
It is
agreeing with
one of,
everything.
right. And it's not being able, but you must be able to communicate. Communication is very important.
Yes.
You understand? So if you communicate, you won't have as much disagreement. Yes, you will have differences, but not disagreements. Differences is that, yes, I say yes, you say no, but we agree to differ. And we would not have any argument.
Right. Yes.
Right? And we'll be able to work through our differences.
So here's my definition.
Compatibility.
Here's my definition of compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
When I had some trouble with my vehicle, we could not get the original part.
Okay.
So somebody sent to me this other gentleman it was cost me $3,000 was to replace the part of my vehicle. I think it was some part of the air condition. $3,000. And he told me to go to this other guy.
Right.
So I went to the guy, and the guy took another part from another vehicle, made an adjustment to the part so that it can now work on mine. It is not the original, but they work together for a good to give me what it was. It was and it was the air
Exactly.
condition. Now
That's
that was
exactly.
about 7 years ago. It cost me $3,000. I said if I bought the new part, the guy
Yeah.
charged me $150 to make that compatibility fit.
Right.
Yesterday when I was driving the vehicle, I was telling my son, look at how long this man fixed this thing. And the air condition today was a hot day, and the air condition was blowing as cold as possible inside of the
Right.
vehicle.
Okay.
So compatibility is not that you're original, because there are
No,
times that we have fallen out, things didn't go right,
that's
but we
correct.
can work together
That's correct.
and get a good result.
That's correct. That's correct. What are you willing to compromise? You see, you were willing to compromise a cost. You were willing to compromise the adjustment of the part for it to fit. But what are
Yes,
you willing to compromise? Because compatibility is compromise as well. You
yes,
understand? It is
yes.
compromise.
So some of the things that I want us to talk about before we come off of this one on these disagreements that we keep falling out on. According to Isabella, Isabella says we disagree on religion, finance, and something. There are three things that they said that we tend to disagree on. Those values that we disagree on. I know it was
Goals and
finance,
fundamentals. Yeah.
right? Lifestyle, yes. Religion, finance, family, and lifestyle choices.
That's correct.
Those are the four things. So let's see if we could disaggregate them. Let me just acknowledge Sheila Thomas, who has just joined us. She said she agrees on the communication that we spoke about. Lyndon says opposites attract. Trisha says she late. She's trying to catch up. Well, Trisha, we're trying to talk about, you love this guy, Trisha. The man, somehow or the other, there is something about him that you really love about him. But all they just don't get along at all, or always at each other's throat. That's what we're talking about. Right? Annabella, can I come in class? I'm sorry for being late. Annabella, listen, let me tell you, I'm going to have to start to deal with some of you all. Chillax, that I think is Lyndon's name. Yeah, that is his new radio name. All right. All right, so she said, good topic. Yes, Lisa, back to you now.
Yeah.
I know that and politics is one of the things that we tend to have disagreements with. We have two different
That's correct.
political positions and so on. We have two
That's correct.
different religious belief systems.
That's correct.
One not too much into church, next one is into church, and so on. So let me hand it over to you now.
Right, and as I mentioned before, with compatibility, we speak about being able to work out your differences, right? People will differ on a lot of topics because remember, they did not grow up in the same household. They did not grow up with the same belief. They did not grow up with the same philosophy.
Right.
They didn't grow up with the same parenting. So you
Yes.
will have differences, but how do we work that differences out is the problem. Sometimes we try to work the differences out, but one try to dominate the other, right? And then, we have the power struggle of money. We have the power struggle of man versus woman. And we have the power struggle of feminists, right? The feminists now, if she's working for more money, obviously you can't come talk down to me. I do what I want and that kind of thing, right? It have men who believe that the patriarchal system that I should talk to you anyhow, I should tell you anything, you have to follow me, you have to do what I will. We do not compromise. Compromise is a very important word. Because you did not grow up in the same household, and even if you grow up in the same household, you will still have differences. But how do we work out these differences? How do we prevent conflict, right? I mean, and when I talk about conflict, we talk about unhealthy conflict, unhealthy compromise, right? We're talking about healthy compromise here. where we're talking about, yes, we can agree to disagree, we can have conflict, but it could be healthy.
Right.
Right?
Yes. So, but how do we resolve that? That's a question that you just asked. What's the answer to that?
All right. Well, I mean, the resolution to that is that we have to be able to communicate with one another. And if you cannot speak to one another with respect, I don't see. You have to start going for mediation. You have to start going for counseling because, I mean, from the time you can't communicate, it cannot work. We'll
Right.
always have problems.
Right. Okay. You know, one of the things that I understand that they say is that we grow apart so much that we no longer get along with each other. Because people go in different direction in their own life, in their own career, everybody pursuing their own goals separately from each other, that they no longer feel as though they're in the same unit, same marriage, etc. And that's a tragedy that
Yeah.
we experience. All right. So let's go to the second one, my people. The second one that is said is that oh, I'm sorry. The second one that is said is that we have different visions of the future. What are we going to do with our lives going forward? And I suspect that that talks about, I want to go and further my study, but how does that affect my wife, who tells herself that she would like to become pregnant early so that she doesn't wait too late, etc. And that's her vision, to start settling down with a family, or she might want to go and study. And I just figured that, well, why should we go and study? Why don't we just start the family one time? Let's chat there so far. Let me just acknowledge a couple people now coming in late. Put John Charmin say put him in the naughty corner. Right. Joan, welcome from Virginia. Good evening. You at work? All right. Joan is nursing, seeing about other people. Jacqueline, Charles. Where Annabella come with these men and the ego talk from? All right. Now Sheila says, I don't know if you saw Sheila's note, Lisa, but she says she's having problems in communication with her husband. So I'd like you to speak to that. So think about that while I deal with some of the other people. Something that they must always be on the same page as Kenneth. And so Sheila is asking, how do you deal with a person that do not want to communicate? He said her husband is an American. All right. So let's see if we could just deviate a little bit and assist Sheila, and then we get back to this vision of the future.
All right. I'm not sure if Sheila was on the last program when we spoke about communication. And we said that communication has three components: the sender, the message, and the receiver. Right? If the sender is aggressive, and if the sender sends the message like it's attacking the person, and remember we spoke about the U word, right? The last time we spoke, right? Then the receiver will not receive the message in a positive light. It will think that the message is attacking him. Now, if the message comes across as being aggressive, or let's say the message comes across as being above the person's head, you want to use highfalutin language, like we say academic language, and the person is a lay person. You understand? And they don't understand what you're speaking about. That could be a significant problem. Now, if the receiver doesn't want to receive the message, that is also another problem, because you have a barricade there, you have a blockage, right? So the message will never get across. So you have to understand why the receiver is not receiving the message. If it doesn't want to receive the message, there is nothing you can do. If the message is not coming across as you want the message to come across, in terms of the language, in terms of the tone, in terms of the words you're using, you have to look at yourself and try to communicate with the receiver and find out why it is the message is not coming across as you intended, right? And that will take some counseling, because once you have that breakdown and that conflict, the receiver doesn't want to hear anything from the sender. So somebody who is qualified, who is how should I say, trained to be able to do that, a mediator can get the receiver to listen to the message. Right? So that is about the problem with the communication. So probably she may have to look at what she is saying, how she is saying what she is saying, the tone she
Right.
is using, that kind of thing.
What she has also hinted here is that her husband is an American and she is from Trinidad and Tobago. So we'll have a cultural divide that will take place there, Sheila, that you might say certain things in a certain way that he may interpret it differently and vice versa. She
That's
said, I
correct.
used to be a private investigator, so I know I am sometimes aggressive. All
That's
right.
right.
But
Mhm.
he has a lot of baggage. I am his third wife. Okay. All right. So Sheila, so that we don't expose all of your issues on the line.
Mhm.
Both Lisa and myself do private counseling. You can call my number. I will leave Lisa to determine whether she's going to give her number on air, because you know you have some people who look to call her because they see she look nice and neat there already. So my number is 868-480-0080. It's on the screen.
Yeah.
It's on the screen. Charmaine is giving advice. She says maybe he never liked communicating. All right.
Mhm.
So for private counseling, what you want, yeah, Lisa?
Michael, what they can do is they can send their request through you and you can forward it to me
All right.
because of
Okay.
my workload and stuff. So
Okay. All right. And we want you to have a set of stalkers on your lap. All right.
it's not that I just like to give people quality time. So
All right. All right, so let me just remind you, if you wish to donate to this program, many of you are fans and many of you have been with us for a long time. And if you wish to donate, as some people have asked, you can go to my website. You can do it while we're talking here now. www.michaelatstewart.com. At the top of the opening page, you're going to see the word donate. You press donate and you can select which one of them that you want to donate, and you contribute towards this program. It will be well appreciated and it is going to be acknowledged. Thank you very much for your kind patronage. All right. So Sheila, you got the information. You chat with me. You give me a call, and we're going to take it from there.
that's great.
All right. So let's go now to that differences in the way how we see the future.
Yeah,
Oh yes, and I see my wife just posted the website onto the page. So thank you very much, Sister Tonya. Nicely. Veronica Joseph, good evening. Veronica, and we're going half an hour later this evening, people, but all are coming in too late. Veronica, all right. Vision for the future. We sometimes in a relationship, we have this idea of what we want to see our lives develop into, Lisa, and
hmm
there somebody wants to settle down, come out of rent, and buy their own property, build their own house. But then you are married to somebody who's quite okay renting for years, and someone gets frustrated that they are stuck in a rental situation when they don't have to. That might
that's
be
right.
one.
hmm
One wants to move on with a certain family life, and so another one doesn't want to move on the family life. They differ so much on their future and what that future looks like.
Yeah.
So now I hand it over to you.
And you see, that is on a result of nature nurture as well. How you grow up. Because if you grow up in a family who actually saves and buy land and build house and stuff, that is the whole concept and the philosophy and the belief system that you will have. But if you grow up in a family that everybody is for themselves and is about, we renting and we want to just move into the tongue space and we want to live up the big life and the flash and the flash and the fantasy. Now, if you understand the person that you are going to marry to, that's why counseling is very important before marriage, right? However, yeah, because these are some of the questions that you ask,
Right.
what is future, what you want your future to be like.
And
Yeah.
should I say not only before marriage, but also do your maintenance like your vehicle, you do your servicing. It is
That's
also
correct.
good during marriage.
That's correct. So after marriage, now when you recognize that you are in a situation, you need to have a conversation. Listen to me, and this is where the word compromise comes in. Yes, I know you want to study. I am aware. And sometimes, Michael, in relationship, we
Mm-hmm.
tend to not be aware of the other person's vision. So they tend to feel belittled in the relationship. So, however, you might say, all right, I want to get a house. But if you do acknowledge that the other person, I know you want to go to school, but let's see if we could organize for you to go to school next year, right? If you acknowledge it and you try to do that kind of compromising, it always works out because you acknowledge any person's vision and their future. But if you
Yes.
don't acknowledge their future or don't acknowledge their vision, and you tend to want to carry on with your vision, right? It would always have a problem because you are in this by yourself.
Right. You know what I find? I find when couples
Mm-hmm.
focus on satisfying the other one's needs,
That's
each of
correct.
them, this is what your wife wants, you make sure that you do what you can for her to achieve that.
That's
She
correct.
does what she can to make sure you achieve yours. I find that the relationship ends up so much better in the long run because of that. To me,
Right. And that's, go
it
ahead,
is just
Michael.
like when you have a customer, you own a business, you put your emphasis in making your customer happy.
Happy.
If you
That's
do that, you don't have to beg the customer to bring more money to you. Money will just naturally be brought to you because they are happy patronizing your business. Same thing in the relationship. Yes, go ahead. You were saying.
right. You see, the thing about it is when you're looking at value of each other's presence in your life, you're going to value what they want, right? The person in your life, you have to make sure that you recognize their presence. You don't make them feel like if there's an inanimate object, right? By not acknowledging what they need or what they want as well, right? We sit down and we talk about the direction in terms of housing. I might
Mm.
want a upstairs house, you might want a downstairs house. And you
Yes,
try to compromise that. I might want a house with big bedrooms, you might want a house with a big gym, right?
right.
And these are the things sometimes they to me, these are inanimate things and they are so insignificant sometimes, but sometimes it becomes so relevant because of how the person may have grown up, right? They may have grown up in poverty, so they want a big, huge house to just show themselves that they can do it.
Right. Yes, yes. Um, Valois, Sister Hooper says counseling is very important. Charmaine said all these things should be discussed before marriage.
That's correct.
Um, Chilak said most of the time one is compromising more than the other. You see? And it is hard if one is always the compromising one and the other person is not taking. One of the things that also you hear about is one of the partners may have a need and
Yeah,
the next partner said they cannot supply the need, whether it is a financial need or the other, but yet they would spend their money on the things that they consider their needs. Where do they
right.
get the money from all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Yes?
And that's
So,
why the compromise must be healthy, right? And I mentioned that before. It have bad compromise and good compromise. It have healthy compromise and unhealthy compromise. And if the compromising is unhealthy, one will always feel disenfranchised. So the
so tell,
compromise must be healthy.
so tell me what is a good compromise. Let us know a good compromise and an unhealthy compromise.
Right? A healthy compromise is listen to me. I know you want to go to school, right? But here what? The rent is so high. So let's look at buying a piece of land and let's see if we could put off school for the next year, right? And you work it out like that, but you're acknowledging that the person has their dreams and values, right?
Right.
But unhealthy compromise is listen to me, we need a house and you all you study is to go to school, but we need a roof over our head. So here what? You have to put that on the back shelf, you know.
Okay. All right. That ain't
So that's
important.
unhealthy. Yeah, that is unhealthy.
Okay. So you trivialize the needs and the desires of your spouse.
That's correct. That's correct.
And I wonder how many people feeling that outside there, that they are in a relationship and my partner just does not appreciate my needs.
That's correct.
Josanne said counseling after marriage is also important.
That's correct.
Penedot said, what about agreeing to realistic targets? All right. So, realistic targets.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out some unrealistic targets that some people may request.
I can tell you one.
All
I may
right.
want to be a doctor costing me $500,000. Right? And we need to get a home. The home might cost you, let me say, $120,000 to get a piece of land and then to be able to build this home. And that was going to be my other point, Michael, being idealistic versus realistic, right? And sometimes we are unrealistic because of our own dreams and our own things. So sometimes we have to put away the word called selfishness. Sometimes we are very selfish, even any compromise. Sometimes your husband and he really wants you to go and study. But the thing about it, I want to go to school and I have to get it my way and I want it my way. Right? But realistically, it is not realistic to get it your way. So that is why communication is very important. Because let's say you want to be a doctor, that is almost $500,000, right? We are talking about. When will you be able to save $1 million to get a house and you to go and be a doctor?
Then the righteous person would say, faith, you must have the faith.
Faith and foolishness is a very thin line.
Thin
line.
Yeah, okay. I hear you. Landon Phillips is throwing the ice in the rice, the spanner in the wheel, when he says, and I think he's talking about these unhealthy compromise, he's talking about queer improper sexual acts that somebody is not prepared to deal with, and you are asking that person to compromise for that. And I don't know whether it is anal sex, I don't know whether it is group sex, orgy, because there are relationships where a partner is going to say, I want my friend to join us in bed. And that actually happens. And there are some people, some sexual acts with instruments and with handcuff and whip, etc. So Landon has taken you down that road. Let's go, Lisa. Let me see how brave you are with that one.
Yeah, but we had spoken about that, Michael, when we had our closed session, when we talk about, the bed is on the fire. Once you and your wife agree to it, fine. But if she doesn't agree to it, right? This is where you need to get counseling. And we spoke about that. So, I mean, because they ask about even using toys, they ask about even using all these things, right? I mean, I have my own ideas about that. But the thing about it is once you and your wife agrees to it, well, fine. But if you do not agree, but you still want to go down that road, which is abnormal from the normal sexual relationship of vaginal penis, we think you need to go and you need to get some counseling. Somebody needs to talk to the both of you all about forming some form of compromise, right? You still have to have that communication to form that compromise. You still have to.
Yes. Someone also messaged me and said their pastor said any sexual position beside the missionary position is wrong. It is sinful.
Says who?
Her pastor.
Okay, well then he going against the Bible when he said the bed is undefiled. Not so?
Well, it is honorable in all and the bed undefiled. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So that's not even up for discussion. So
should a pastor even be in bed with that issue? Anyway, let's move on. Charmaine said, what? Veronica, compromise should be fair to both parties, but the most important must be tackled first. So communicate. Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk about this. Sit down with your partner and discuss these things here so that you'll know, the person would know, I have a little problem with this. You see? And allow that person now to have the chance to know, okay, now I see, because let's say a woman has been raped and there are certain acts that triggers her, that turns her off. That's a good thing to discuss so that you don't think that she's just that she does not want it, but that one affects her in a negative way.
That's correct, Ken.
Kenneth want to know, what about the whips? That is prison or what, Kenneth? Bondage, etc. Lynn Chillax said the pastor needs help. He needs counseling. All right.
Need help.
Okay. Okay, nice. Third thing that this the lady who's writing the article, the 2024 article that she mentioned, is lack of mutual respect. Now you touched on that already, so I think that you were very clear that we must have respect for each other.
Must have respect.
How could we manifest disrespect and how could we manifest respect?
Sometimes in life, disrespect comes about by, how should I say, more like not accepting the other person's needs or the other person's wants, or as the case may be. You're not acknowledging the other person for no reason, right? So when you don't acknowledge your partner, obviously it's going to breed some distrust, and from the distrust it's going to lead to disrespect, because here what? You're not acknowledging me, you don't really care about me, so here what? I don't want to hear anything from you, you know, that kind of way. And that's where it starts. That's exactly where it starts. And the disrespect starts because we do not acknowledge one another's needs.
Right. So can the way we speak to each other.
That's correct. The tone.
The tone. And the way we treat each other, especially in presence of company.
That's correct.
Right. So I think it is important for us to know when we talking to our spouse and when we relating to our spouse, it must always give the spouse a sense of security, assurance, love, consideration. Anytime it goes that the spouse has to feel embarrassed and insulted and feel attacked, it is disrespect.
That's correct.
You see? Even when you have to pull up your spouse or have to talk to your spouse about something in it, they should not feel attacked.
Yeah,
it should come across as though, listen, in the love of my expression of saying this, that I want you to get my point. It is not meant to hurt you or insult you in any way.
Right. Yeah. And you see, you have to know how to correct people in public as well. You have to learn to do that.
Yes.
Right? You wouldn't go up to your spouse and say, "What you saying is stupidness, you know." No, you don't do that. If it's not important, you wait until you reach home. If it is significant at the point in time, when you get a quiet moment, you let him know that, you know, well, you know, you say so and so and so and so is the case, you know, that kind of way, and let him go and correct himself. Right?
And sometimes you don't have to deal with everything the same time.
No, you don't have to. And it's not important. It is not important. When certain things are not important, you do not deal with it at the same time.
Right.
You wait till you get home.
Okay. Michelle Nicholson, welcome. Rock and come in, Michelle. I haven't seen my dear little sister this evening. Where is she? Deanne Robinson. Or did I miss her somewhere? Okay. All right. Anytime, let me just give a commercial break here. If you want private counseling and you want to talk about this thing, you can get help. We all need the help. The telephone number is on the screen at the top. It is 868-480-0080. And we counsel any part of the world. We do people from all over the world. We sit down with them. We do it on Zoom. We do it on WhatsApp, etc. So you don't have to be in the presence. All right. So please avail yourself. Save that relationship. Sometimes you know it's a good relationship. The person is a good person, but you just need to know how to live together and how to get along with each other. And we could help that. So please do that. The other thing that I want you to do is, to those who wish to, is not compulsory, but those who wish, we're inviting you to make a donation to this program by going to the website www.michaelatstewart. You'll see scrolling across the bottom of the screen, www.michaelatstewart.com, and you press donate, and you could put as little as $20 towards it. Whatever it is that you have, it will be well appreciated. All right. So we dealt with that aspect of disrespect. She went on to another one. When you're in a relationship, and for those who joined us late, we are talking about you love somebody, but somehow or the other, you all are not compatible. And she's giving 8 signs that you are not compatible. And she said, when you can't be yourself around the person, you always have to be somebody else. And I'll tell you something, Lisa. When I was doing a training course sometime, there's this lady who every time that she paid, she was paying in installments. And every time she paid, she asked me, do not write a receipt for her. And after she did that a couple of times, I asked her, is there a reason you do not want a receipt?
Yeah.
And she says, because she's doing this training to develop herself, but the man she lives with does not want her to take any training program. So he has gone to Trinidad. So she's taking the training program, but does not want him to find out. So she doesn't want a receipt or trail to show that she's developing herself. So it seems that though she cannot be herself around this gentleman. And I felt that was very touching in a very negative way, to think that something like that, of her doing that and trying to advance herself, he finds that she should just stay home and see about the family in the things. And that was something that touched me. What is your opinion on that?
That is bordering on domestic violence, you know. That is emotional abuse. Because once you start to hide and you have to hide, what happens? And this is the other question you should have asked her. What happens if he finds out? Maybe he's aggressive, maybe he's violent, maybe
and she was scared
me,
about that. She was scared about
coming to
something.
me as DV, domestic violence is happening there. Some form of domestic violence is occurring there.
And you know, when there's abuse taking place, the person tries to cut you off from any help or support that you may get, except
that's
theirs.
correct. That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. So it sounds to me that some form of domestic violence is taking place there.
Okay. All right. So how else do you think people hide their true self from whenever they are around their spouse and their partner?
All right, we have many examples of that. And one particular example is when you find that, let me talk from a woman's point of view. If a woman has an executive position and her husband is a street cleaner, you understand?
Yes.
He has to basically dodge and hide, and he cannot come to any of our functions and those kind of things. Those things happen. Same thing with a wife who is a housewife and an executive who has a position. Sometimes he doesn't want his wife to come to any of the functions at work because, you understand, because she cannot carry on a conversation, as he would say. She's not intellectual, as she would say. But this is your wife. You understand what I'm saying? So
yes, you find
she has to hide herself, or he has to hide himself to position the person in terms of their character, where they are at in terms of the position. You know?
Right, right. You know, while you're talking there, and sometimes you're in a social gathering, and you're just asking questions, and you have a discussion on a topic going on, and you ask, they might ask one of the spouse, what's their opinion on it? And they will give their opinion, and then you'll ask the other person, and you'll ask, well, what's your opinion on it?
Yeah.
And somehow the most time is the woman who,
Yeah.
well, no, but I go with what he said.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? And but you'll find out that the person had a different view on the
That's correct.
topic, but
Mm-hmm.
did not share that view because they don't want to say a view that is opposite to their
So the,
spouse
yeah.
in this thing. So that makes you wonder, where is the individuality that the person can have a position on a matter? It does not always have to line up with your spouse. How do we get that so that we can be normal and ourselves? I don't agree with what you said because, and you say why you don't agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I can remember this one situation, Michael, as you brought that up. You know, this guy came into this function and he brought his wife and they were having a conversation and he said to her, sometimes you could embarrass your husband. And I'm like, well, why? Why did you say that to her? Because she was very intelligent.
Hmm.
And when they asked her a question, they didn't expect her to answer like that.
Okay, okay, okay.
You understand? So he was like, you know, you could embarrass your husband sometimes, and it could be vice versa. They could ask her a question, she may not know anything that is going on.
Right.
You
But
know,
isn't it something that we should be proud that our spouse is bright and has knowledge and so on?
not necessarily, Michael. No, it have some men who are very, very offended with their wives' progress in life. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they
Well,
are.
well, there
Sometimes
is
in their own mind, yeah, sometimes in their own mind, they carry on their own travesty because in their mind, for them, is that they're just not good enough to be with their wife because
mm-hmm.
she has a certain level of education and they don't have, so they belittle themselves and they tend to cause trouble in the relationship.
Well, we have plenty work to do, eh?
Yeah.
Plenty work to do. Let me see what the people saying. Pick your battle, said Sabana Sparkling. Not everything you can unite together.
That's
Yep,
correct.
that's right. Trisha says insecure men. All right.
That's correct.
Landon says, when I was younger, I had a relationship with a young lady. When around me, she was extremely quiet, but when around her friends, she was the most loud and chatty individual. I often wondered if I intimidated her or she was just bent on giving me a certain impression.
Mm.
Well, Landon, I hope you found out because I don't
Yeah.
know.
I hope so too.
I hope you wasn't an intimidating fella. I hope that she can talk freely.
Yeah,
Um, Lennon said that's an opportunity to be proud of her, of him, and of her in public.
not
Yeah,
all men.
yeah.
Not all, not all
That
men.
is
Yeah.
so true that they feel you're just good to be a house, cooking, washing, and cleaning. They figure you're stupid. It goes both ways.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
I think it is important. Who wants to be married to somebody that is lacking in certain basic common sense? You'll feel proud the person has made you look good by saying the things that would compliment you. So let's not put down knowledge and appreciate each other. Glenda Allen say, how would they get together in the first place?
As I
What
say,
about
probably the sex was good.
yeah, yeah, works every time.
It was every time. And
Works every
is
time.
the thing about it, Michael, when you in a relationship, right, and you have to look at compatibility. If you have a master's, you can work with your husband for him to get his master's too. And this is why communication is important because you can carry on communication about finances. And they call it, you call it critical thinking. And
Yeah.
when you have conversation in the house with one another, you tend to bring each other up to the same academic level because of the conversation you are having.
Right.
And you will know what to expect from your wife. You will know what to expect from your husband.
Yes, yes, yes. Lawrence Fleming says that they have both insecure and male and insecure female.
Yeah, we do have.
Landon says he agrees with you. Trisha says that's good. I like that. All right. Joy is asking, what about that narcissist? That narcissistic person. I'm not sure what Joy is referring to.
Well, a narcissistic person is a person with psychosis. That is a sick person. So you have to X them out as needing medical attention.
Oh, then she might be talking about the man who would have
Yeah,
felt because the woman spoke up that
yeah,
she's embarrassing him. So he only wants to be the bright one in the room.
that's right. Yeah,
Well, that's a bulb. And bulb
yeah,
does blow
yeah. Or explode.
and explode. That's right. Heather Atkins said the bed being on the file doesn't mean you should carry out all kinds of insane acts. Certain parts of the body is to be used in certain way. One part is to receive and another part is to dispose filth. It's not even a debate. Not even animals commit unnatural acts. All right, Heather. You go your way, girl. You go your way. Heather, what do you think about oral sex? We're talking about the parts here that is for one thing or the next. Let me hear what you're saying there now, Heather. Oral sex. Answer that for me. them fellas waiting on you to answer, yeah? Anyway, I waiting on her to answer back. So let's go on while she decide how she going to answer that.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 5.
Okay. The other thing that she says, the writer, Isabella Chase, that we don't share core value. Core value. This core value are the things that is more than just likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
You understand? Are those core values that set a standard of how we operate, almost character type values. So one believes in telling the truth and one believes in lying. If you're going to get away with it, one believes in paying bribe and the next one don't believe in paying bribe. One may believe in a certain lifestyle and the next one don't believe in that kind of lifestyle. They say that's some of the incompatibilities that we're talking about there. Let me just say, okay, Heather agrees. She says no problem with the, well, she said no problem. So I'm thinking she's referring to the oral sex. No problem with oral sex. But then Heather, then you go against what you just said, you know. You said certain parts of the body to be used in certain way. The other part is to receive and the other part is to dispose. All right. So in oral sex, which was the receiving one?
Michael, you're going down the road. She's carrying you down the road and you are going. You are taking bet, Michael. Come on.
All right. I got pull back. Oh, donkey. I got pull back.
Yeah, pull back.
All right. So the core values. Talk to me about the core values then now, Lisa.
Right. Sometimes the core values is how they are nurtured, right? And sometimes when people are nurtured in different way, they become very competitive. They become very, very competitive. So, all right, we will use whatever is necessary for I to always look like if I am working. Let's just say I lost my job.
Yes.
And I didn't want to tell my husband, right? Now, our core value that I grew up with is that I can lie my way through that until thy kingdom come, right? Another person's core value, look, let me tell him the truth and come to, some fruition. Another one might be, I'm going to sell drugs and he ain't bound to know, you know what I mean? But it's what you are nurtured to do, right? Some family nurture their children to lie. That is why some family children can buy their certificate online. Some family can buy a job. Some family can some children know to sell the wife to the boss, right? These are things that they are nurtured to do in certain family. And that is why you have to understand the philosophy and the belief systems of your husband and the family. I can remember seeing this movie once, Michael, and I must highlight it, where they say not without my child. He was from
That's the name of
far,
the movie?
yeah, that's the
Not
movie,
Without
not
My
without
Child.
my child, yes. And he was from the Far East, and I must highlight it. And she was from America. And he decided he never wanted to go back to the Far East to visit his family. He never wanted to do it. And his father was dying, and she said, "Let us go." And when they go back to the Far East, she had to practice what he has been didn't want to expose her to, right? Because the woman wouldn't had no, they couldn't go out and work. Then she had to cover her head. He take away her passport. His father used to beat her because that is what they used to practice. And he didn't want to expose her, but when he went back there, he had to conform back to their belief system. And she had to literally thief her daughter out of the country to get out of the country to go back to America. And she was
Wow.
abused. The father used to beat her, the brother used to beat her. So we're talking about the belief system. And when you see sometimes people have some core values, sometimes you are all shocked, right? Sometimes people practice, they worship the devil. In their family, they do necromancy, they do obi, and these are the values that they have. So anything happen in your relationship, this is what they fall back to. So sometimes they hide it because sometimes they know it is wrong. Sometimes they use it because it is a part of competition, and sometimes they hide it again because sometimes they are ashamed of what is happening in their life. So they fall back on that. So there are many reasons why core values are not expressed in a relationship.
Okay. Thank you so much. We are at the top of the hour. As we said, we're gonna go. You all have asked for a little extra time that so we still see people joining us now. We're going to let me remind you that we are talking about the signs that you love each other, but you are not compatible. Let me just tell you that Q code bar on this sign is where you can just take your telephone, scan that, and you can donate to this program. That is going to take you to the site to donate, which is also the website. The website is www.michaelatstewart.com. You click on it to donate. Whatever it is you wish to donate, you can do so. Or you could take a picture of this, put your phone on camera, and it is going to give you the link for the Q code for you to just make your contribution. What we try to do is to help people in their relationships so that they'll have a better life together. All right? A lot of relationships are going through struggles and are going through where they are crashing. We want to help these relationships to work. Okay. So we said we're gonna go a little later this evening. We're gonna see how it works. It is more or less a test run. If we figure that people are also able to come in, because some people coming in late from work, and my people in the UK say that there's a time difference, and so I'm trying to also accommodate them in what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right. So we spoke about the core values. For those who just joined us, we spoke about the things that make us incompatible. Now, these do not mean that because they exist, such as disagreement, etc., that it means that the relationship cannot work. But these are the things that contribute towards an incompatible relationship. So constantly disagreeing, you're always fighting, and some people actually get into physical fight. Every Monday morning is a quarrel. Everything that something happens, you all start a quarrel. Tell yourself, probably we love each other, but we distinct can't work. Not everybody you love, you should marry. Let me just tell you that. Two, there are different visions of the future. You have one thought of the vision for the future. They have a different thought of the vision. And where they want to go, you are not prepared to go there. You like to travel and move from one country, live 5 years in the next country and live 5 years in the next one. The next person just doesn't like that kind of thing. That is unstable. No, it is almost nomadic. And they don't like that kind of life. Well, you know, you might not have a good relationship with that. Lack of mutual respect, how you talk to each other, how you regard each other. And when you can't be around the person and be yourself, you always have to be pretending and be, you lose yourself in the relationship. You do not have your individuality, and as though you don't even know who you are anymore. That might be an incompatibility. And then we just finished talking about share. We do not share the core values. Right. So now we go. Communication. Well, that one we dealt with in previous programs. We touched on it a little while again. I don't know if you want to say anything else on that, or we should just skip that and go on to the next one.
No, communication is very important, and we
All right.
must constantly be highlighting why communication becomes a struggle. You see, and now, especially now, Michael, where we have social media, we must talk about that cell phone in bed. We must talk about that cell phone that taking away conversation.
No,
We must talk about.
I turn down the volume. My wife somewhere near
No,
me.
I want to shout it loud. I want to shout
No,
it loud.
no,
Yes.
no.
Yes, I want to shout it loud because it's not only that we are putting our business on social media and your partner is finding out what is happening in the house on social media.
Mm.
That's madness. It is happening, Michael.
Eh.
It is happening. And it must be a struggle.
Everything we go on social media and talk about.
Everything. So it must be a struggle. If we have a fight tonight before the husband reach over, his co-workers don't know the fight happened already in the house and on Facebook and it and come on.
What causes somebody to do that? Is it that they're looking for something? Is it that there is something missing in their life or something?
Well, there's another topic by itself, social media and the implications of social media and why people look to social media because they feel that social media is their friend. You understand? People listen and people respond. And according to what you say, people respond according to what you say. So most of the time, people will agree with what you say. You understand? So that's where we have a lot of problems happening in that communication, which is a struggle. It is a serious struggle.
In addition to what you just said there, with the social media and the communication, one is actually posting all your private business on the social media. But what about you do not spend enough time with your spouse because you're always on your cell phone, playing games, talking to people and all of that?
That's correct.
You see? So you don't get to connect. And there's a word that they have just developed called phubbing. 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 Where you're talking to somebody, but you are on the cell phone while talking to the person. So you are phone snubbing them. Phubbing.
That's correct.
Instead of giving the person the attention and watching them in the face. All right. So that communication. Any other aspect of communication you wanted to talk about?
No, that in particular. If I remember anything, I will highlight it as we go along.
All right. So always making excuses for your spouse. I didn't understand this one here quite well. That Isabella, the lady, wrote about as how that makes it incompatible. Always making excuses for yourself. Did you understand it, or have you had a chance to look at that?
Yes, I've looked at it, and it always speaking about, for example, is that you make excuses for their shortcomings. For example, don't want to mingle with your family, or he's not feeling well, or he has to work. This time he home lying and watching TV. You understand? You might walk up and say, "Let me go home." He tired, man. I'm going home. You understand? And this is the kind of excuses you make for man. He ain't feeling good tonight. I think I want to leave early tonight. You understand? And it have wives who do that. It have husbands who do that.
Yes,
They make
yes, yes.
excuses for their spouse.
Mm.
Sometimes they just don't want to mingle with people. Sometimes they just don't want to tolerate people. And you have to be always the one that making excuses for them.
Right, right. You go to an office event, it's supposed to be for Mr. and Mrs. and your spouse never want to come with you.
That's correct. That's
Ah,
correct.
okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So let's go to this one. You're not happy at all. You love the person, you're in the marriage, you're in the relationship, but you're not happy.
And the question might be asked is why you're not happy.
You tell
Why
me?
you're not happy? Because,
Uh,
Michael, in many relationships, right, you will never get 100%. Okay?
mm-hmm.
And listen carefully to what I'm saying. You'll never
Yes.
get 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone a relationship you try, you will never get 100%. We have in our mind our ideal relationship, our
Right,
ideal spouse. But in
right.
reality, we may not get this spouse. For example, I might think about a man, oh, he's always buff and he always chest up and he walk
Yeah.
in a way, right? That is my ideal.
Right,
And if I don't get my ideal, right? Sometimes he providing, he giving you the food, he have the shelter. Now, 80% of what you want in your life you're getting.
right.
But sometimes we leave the 80% and go for the 20.
Wow.
I could look at this the other side of the coin in terms of a man. They always like the Coca-Cola shape. She have the false hair, the long nails. The wife might be home cleaning, cooking, washing, doing everything. But yet still, you find that infidelity takes place because here what? The 20% outside they're looking nice.
Mm.
Right? Now you're getting your clothes washed, you're getting your food every day to carry to work, you're getting your everything you're getting, right? You may not have the look that you want because it's the Coca-Cola shape and the false here, and as I'm saying, the nature nurture, the
Right.
advertisement, the social media and all these things painting all these pictures in your head. And you just not happy because you want this 20%.
You know, I watched a girl on social media. She did a video
Mm-hmm.
and she said she left her husband because her friends were talking about the way how their life is without
Yeah.
a husband, without a man. And
Mm-hmm.
the freedom that they have, the way how
That's
they could
correct.
do things when they want. She saw that and she liked that kind of life.
That's
She
correct.
left her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And she says those girls got married.
Exactly.
And now she's now in hindsight when she look back, she said, but I left a good man.
Mm-hmm.
And she admitted that she left a good man all because of this freedom that the friends boasted about. But she recognized now it's just that they did not have a man.
That's correct. Sometimes
And
they're
she
jealous
fell
too.
for it.
That's correct.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah. So
Well,
not being happy is very subjective, eh?
right.
As
That's
well
it.
as compatibility is very subjective.
Uh, well, people chatting down, there's 100 and something comments on this thing. Now, people, I cannot read all, but I really appreciate them. I will read them after the program because to read 100 and something of them on the screen now is a little challenge. Question coming here. How can we focus or work on our core values in our relationship? What steps? Somebody else comment now and it just went because it went. How can we focus on our work on our core values in our relationship? What steps can we take to strengthen these new values?
That's for me.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I
All
guess
right,
because
yeah. The thing about it is communication. We're going back to communication. If you are discussing and you have communication, you have conversation happening in the house, Your values are renewed every single day. Your discussion is held every single day. Your priorities are changed every single day. So if you having that communication and that discussion, right, the discourse will tell you whether you should move one value lower down and one value higher up. For example, let's just say, knock on wood, your husband may get ill and you have to prioritize his health challenges. Now, you may not have any money to go to school, you may not have any money to build a house, but in discussion, you know that you want to prioritize his health as being priority. And that is why communication comes in, right? Then you will say, all right, yeah, well, we'll work on make sure and getting you well and make sure and things, and you have that discussion. So what you do, and when I am doing counseling, I normally work with my clients and I ask them to write down what are the challenges. But we really work on psychosis. We don't work on strengthening in terms of goal setting, right? We work on challenges. And what are the challenges you have? And we will look at it and see what is priority first, and then we will put some things in place to deal with that. And once that is working, then we will deal with the other one. And if something comes up, we push one higher than the other one, we renumber it. And that is what you do it until you deal with all of them.
Right, right. Could you take this question, please? This, where is it? Is it a question? Michelle said, I had a client who said he was not happy because his wife got too fat and she was older than him, so he felt embarrassed. Wow. Change of size and change of your physique when you are in a relationship. How does that impact on the quality of our relationships?
And that's what I just said. Compatibility is subjective. Things change as you go along. The only constant in life is change. And things change. What about if the person gets sick and they are bedridden? You have to put that down and talk about what is priority at the point in time, right? And sometimes I think, Michael, we allow our spouse to get out of shape. And I'm talking about vice versa without commenting. You know, sometimes they might say, all right, I think you're putting on some weight. So here, what? Let's put aside some time tomorrow and go and exercise. Then we start an exercise program. And we need to start initiating some of these things to be able to help your spouse, right? If I see my spouse, listen to me, he want to start doing a course, I will say, well, listen to me, I will help you. Find out what is the course, we will read up on it, I will read up on it. You know, this is a nice one, that is a nice, what you want in the future, what you want to see in the future. And we have to be able to respect each other in that way and understand each other values. So people values change as we go along life's journey, right? We don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know what health challenges we will have to face. So we have to be in dialogue and discussion all the time in terms of changing that core value.
I passed by a house. I was driving past and I saw this pregnant woman in the gallery.
Yeah.
So as I passed, I glanced because I saw them from the side. And as I passed, I glanced, I looked at the face of the person and the person had bed. And I said, but wait, it's a man. But his stomach was so protruding.
Yeah.
I honestly thought was a woman. You see? So that is one of the things that we need to take care of ourselves, because you ask yourself, no, I don't see why we should leave somebody because they put on size. You see, I don't support that. But I think also in relationships, we need to be cognizant that we'll want to maintain a good size for the relationship to be able to have that kind of connectivity. Some people cannot, because there are some people on medication that cause them to put on size. There are some people physically cannot keep up with the exercise, so they will put on size. And then when it comes to women, the fact that they have become pregnant, there are some changes in her body that makes her not be able to hold the size and the shape that she used to have. These are natural things as we age, and we need to respect that. If therefore we want a certain weight, we should marry a scale. If you want to be able to marry a human being, you recognize that that is going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heather say till death do us part. Yes, go ahead. You were saying.
Yeah, but we have to work with each other. We have to be able to work with each other, and also we have to be able to identify to each other. And we should be able to take criticism as constructive criticism. Because if my husband said, "Oh my God, Lisa, you're putting on some weight," say, "Boy, I really have to go and work on that, from tomorrow." You understand what I'm saying? And we must take it. If my husband, I mean, and we women are very sensitive. If my husband come and say, "You're putting on weight." "Oh gosh, you're watching me. You're like how I'm looking now. You're watching somebody else." You understand?
Yes, yes.
It's a whole road that is unhealthy. It is
Yes.
very unhealthy.
Absolutely. All right. So let me see what else people are saying on the line. So we'll deal with those. Next week, I want us to talk about this question. We did phrase. The topic for next week. The signs that you have married the wrong person. Yeah. What are the things that make it? And not that I agree with everything these people write, but this is one written by Sarah Christensen. It's a 2023 article, so these are quite recent articles.
Right.
And the warning signs that you have married the wrong person. I don't know if I've ever met a couple that said from the word go, and probably they are, that they knew this person was the right one, and 50 years later, they have never changed that. Some point, some frustration stepped in and they say, I wonder if I did the right thing. I don't know. I think that you have quite a number of people, but nothing is wrong in asking the question, is acting upon it, and at a certain point of frustration, you're going to say, well, you see, I should have stayed where I was there, I was better off single, etc. But we do ask questions every so often. But we don't have to now take those answers that are negative to act upon it. So this writer is going to tell us 9 warning signs that it might be the wrong person. And just let's take that with a pinch of salt. Because just because you have a frustration with somebody does not mean that they are the wrong person. You just might need to reassess your own concept, because the thoughts of your partner and the ways of your partner pointing you out might be for our own good. And it's not that they are wrong to disagree with us. It might be that they are now trying to set us on the right track.
That's correct.
Okay. Some people let them. Okay, so this person says some people let themselves go. No love from deep within, only what the eye sees, but you should help when you see something because his body changes. Yep. Love and respect, says Myrtle. Some people okay. And Heather says you must be happy within yourself. All right. So we're coming down to the end here now. What do you have to say, advice as we begin to wrap up?
Well, the advice in terms of compatibility. You see, we give out what we feel in ourselves, Michael. We need to love ourselves first.
Right.
We have a partner, then and only then we can give love. When you have to give love and you have to find yourself being compatible with somebody, remember it is subjective. What are you willing to compromise? What are you willing to work with? How far are you willing to go in this relationship for this person that you say you love? You understand? So
Yes.
you have to you have to constantly be asking yourself that question. And there's nothing wrong in getting up and asking that question every 2 years, Do I really love this person? Do I really want to, what is it good? And look at the good things, look at the blessings that you have relationship. Too many times we look at the problems that we have in, and too many times the level of disrespect comes out because here what? The person is not good enough for me anymore. You understand in your mind. But then again, you and yourself, you don't love yourself, so you can't give out love. So work on yourself first, as the Bible say, love your neighbor as you love yourself. You have to
Yes.
love yourself first. So when you love yourself, you can love anybody and you can work with anybody, right? But
Right.
just remember, they are also a human being and they can do the same thing to you as well.
Right. Yep. You're
Mhm.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Uh, yes, you should. Okay, I'm just looking at some of these comments here. No love from deep within, only what the eyes see, but you should help when you see something. Okay. All right, people, thank you very much. We appreciate your being on. Lisa, we appreciate having you as usual, always giving us some good information and being very balanced with your presentation. Lawrence Plummeted core values in a relationship are love, understanding, caring, supporting, and allowing simplicity to be the guide to a lasting relationship. All right, Lawrence, thank you very much. Next week, we said we're talking about what are the signs that you're married to the wrong person. So join us for that one next week, Thursday. We are on every Thursday at 8 o'clock. So be part of that for us, please. All right. Just remember, if you want to donate, go to my website, www.michaelatstewart.com to make your donation. Also, what you can do is just take that Q code that is on there. You're going to just put your camera to take it. It will take you straight to the site where you can pay, and you can pay whatever it is you amount to donate for the program to keep the program going. It is going to be much appreciated. God bless you. And those who want counseling, the telephone number is right above my head, 868-480-0080. All right, Rachel, thank you very much. Rachel said very informative session. Keep up the great work. Blessed night, everyone. Thank you very much, Kenneth, and God bless you all. This is Mike at Night. See you next week, Thursday, 8 o'clock. And this has been with Lisa, Blenman, David. Thank you very much. Good. All right. See you.